pretty, you're light skin. Putting things like mixed or light skin in your social media handles or bio is very weird. It's not a niche and it should not be your personality. Perpetuating harmful rhetoric, really, with the key point being that you're mixed and you have natural autonomy, is weird. And if we're coming for people to make ourselves feel better, we should probably use the right words. Black women are the most educated group in America, okay? Being light skinned is not a trophy. It doesn't matter if you can pass that paper bag test or not. They still held up the paper bag. Being light skinned does not mean you get preferential treatment. Sometimes it actually means questioning that treatment based on what you see around you. Being light skinned doesn't mean you should get picked. What it means is it's okay to step aside, so other people that wouldn't usually get picked can. Be aware of how your rhetoric affects others, especially those that are supposed to be part of your community. It's 2024 and people are still flapping their gums about light skin this and mix that. Like, it's dead. You're not pretty, you're light skin.
Welcome back to the channel. I was gonna post a video about affirmations, or I was gonna post an affirmations video, but when I saw this, I just had to talk about this. So me being the techie that I am, I went ahead and I got AI to transcribe everything that this beautiful woman said on her TikTok. Okay, and reason being is because we're going to dissect this and really see the cognitive dissonance in the statement that she made. Okay. So first off, I just want to say I'm not putting her name in the, I'm not going to disclose her name at all. I just don't think that I should. And let's go ahead and get started. Let's get into this, okay? So very first thing that she says is, you're not pretty, you're light skinned. Okay, so I thought that was very interesting because yes, the woman we're looking at is light skinned, but she's also very, very pretty. And so it just gave me a little question mark in my head. Like when she wakes up and she looks in the mirror, does she have this kind of belief running in the background? Does she wake up in the mirror and say, I'm not pretty, I'm just light skinned? If she does, that's very sad. And it's also very self-denigrating. And I don't understand why she would have to have that belief that, you know, being light skinned doesn't equate to pretty. Like, why should something like that even have to be said? Because anyone knows that skin tone doesn't equate to being pretty or being ugly. Now, the quality of your skin does, yes. Yes, the quality of your skin does, but it kind of seems like this statement she's making is kind of like a mantra that is being used as a coping mechanism for the colorism and the skin tone discrimination that runs rampant in the Black community. So major triangulation happening here. Okay, now also want to mention, you know, it would be a little weird to say, hey, you're not ugly, you're just dark skin. Or you're not ugly, you just have very brown skin. That would be very weird. It would kind of sound as if the person was still implying that, you know, something was wrong with your skin tone. It's just very weird. Or statements like, you're pretty for a Black girl, or you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl, or wow, you're really ugly for a light-skinned girl. All of those statements come from people who need some help and therapy. Okay, like this woman, she's saying that you're not pretty, you're light-skinned. Skin tone should never be brought up in conjunction with, you know, how attractive a person is. That should never be. I don't care who you're trying to defend. That's just wrong. You shouldn't have to put anyone down because of their skin tone. But anyways, she says things like putting things like mixed or light skin in your social media handles or bio is very weird. And I would beg to differ here. I'm gonna address mixed in a second, but first I want to address her statement about, putting light skin in your social media handle or bio is very weird, or putting mixed or something like that. Um, Obviously, I'm light skinned, and while I have never, while I have never put light skin in my bio or my handles or anything like that, what I have seen and experienced is people trying to label me as light skin. And I also have seen other people in their bio saying, yeah, I'm an Afro Latina, or, I am a ginger, or I am a Russian Barbie, or I am, a chocolate queen. And we're going to actually take a look at some of those things really quickly. So let me go ahead and share my screen so we can pull this up on Google, okay? All right, so let's see if we can find some profiles where people are promoting their phenotype. Let's start off with skin tone. Okay, so let's do Chocolate Queen Instagram. Oh, look, Bella Chocolate Queen. The Chocolate Queen. Now let's see, are they talking about the type of chocolate that you eat? Let's see, are they talking about the type of chocolate that you eat? Because I do follow this guy on Instagram who makes, okay, so this woman is actually talking about the chocolate that she eats. Okay, that's different. Let's see. Who is Chocolate Queen? Okay, so I don't see anything on this post promoting the chocolate that we eat. I'm assuming that this woman who's posting all of these aesthetic things, she sees herself as a chocolate queen and a self-care queen and a self-love queen. So yeah, she's definitely referencing her phenotype in this profile. Let's see something else. Chocolate Queen Rhea. Who is that? Hmm. I don't know if this is a chocolate. But yeah, so let's try another one. What about hair color? Right? What about hair color? Ginger Babe Instagram profile. Oh, gingers only. Pretty ginger babes. Redhead at redhead girl. At redhead girl. Ginger girl's passion. Look, incredible redheads celebrating the beauty and empowering redhead women. Let's see. But you kind of see my point here, where no one is upset about no one's upset at other people for celebrating their phenotype or celebrating their heritage. You have profiles that obviously the ladies there are identifying with their skin tone, how deep and rich and beautifully melanated their skin tone is, how red their hair is, where they come from. Russian girl Instagram profile. Let's see. Russian girl team. So like everyone gets to be celebrated. Everyone gets to be celebrated. Um, Instagram. Look, Caramel Queen, Queen Love. See, this is I'm assuming like either Black woman or a mixed woman. Her name is Caramel Queen. She's a caramel queen. Okay. So yeah, it's not weird. It's not weird at all. Maybe it's that you just don't like when people of a certain complexion do it, right? So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. And let's continue in this commentary. Yeah, it's not weird at all, actually. Everyone does it. It's not a niche and it should not be a personality perpetuating harm. You're perpetuating harmful rhetoric, really, with the key point being that you're mixed and you have not natural autonomy. It's weird. Okay, so and this is the thing about mixed people, right? Mixed people are everything in their admixture. They're not one thing and not the other. They're not like if you have someone who's mixed with black and white or African and European, they're not just African and they're not just European. They're both. That is the purpose of saying that you're mixed and putting your flags in your profile. What is the issue with that? Why do we have to put those people down? You know? She says something about natural autonomy. The fact that you have natural autonomy is weird. It's interesting she says that because she butchered that phrase. So, natural autonomy is kind of a phrase that's used in scientific and philosophy discussions. So, if I pull it up here, natural autonomy. So, natural autonomy, you'll hear that phrase in philosophical debates regarding whether or not free will actually exists. And this discussion was not being had in history with the with Black people and Black Americans' history in mind. So it doesn't have any reference to like the ontological experience of being Black in America across time periods. It doesn't talk about any of that. In other words, what I'm trying to say is when people were talking about natural autonomy, they're not thinking about skin tone, okay? They're not thinking about skin tone. They're truly thinking about free will. But I think what she's getting at, or she's trying to get at, is that the idea that you can transcend stereotypes, or you can transcend statistics. Like, oh, I'm not a statistic, or I'm not a typical Black person. Why is it that me saying that I'm light skinned, okay, and this is my experience as a light skinned woman, why does that have to be perceived as me trying to flex on Black people who meet some kind of statistic, or Black people who are facing some kind of oppression like colorism? Why does me being able to say that, hey, I'm light skinned and this is how I experience life? Let's say you're mixed. If you stand up and you say, I'm mixed, why does that have to be perceived as an attack on Black people who do not get to identify that way, who do not have the option of identifying that way, who are being subjected to colorism, or being subjected to racism? Why is it that all of a sudden, because you make your presence known as a mixed person, then you're at fault? You're shame on you for making yourself known when us Black people have to deal with the racism, and we don't get to say, oh well, I'm 20% European, or shame on you because the one drop rule doesn't apply anymore. Shame on you for not aligning with the one drop rule. It's very strange to me. Yeah. And I don't think that I think that what she's saying is is very out of context when it comes to natural autonomy. Go ahead and research that phrase on your own and read what's out there in the scientific journals and the philosophical journals about natural autonomy. And let me know in the comments if you think that the idea of natural autonomy is something that's even within scope in this conversation. She also says, if we're coming for people to make ourselves feel better, we should probably use the right words. I don't know what she means here. I'm assuming that she's trying to say that mixed people shouldn't call themselves mixed, because the next thing she says is Black women are the most educated group in America. Okay. Yes, I do believe that Black women might be the most educated group in America, but mixed people don't have to identify as Black. And we're so educated that we know that they don't have to identify as Black. So it's weird that, basically what she's expressing is frustration at the fact that mixed people are saying mixed in their bios instead of Black power, right? Oh my goodness. Being light skinned is not a trophy. It isn't. It is not a trophy. It doesn't matter if you can pass that paper bag test or not. Wow. They still hold up the paper bag. What? Okay, so when was the last time anyone held up a paper bag to your person? Have you ever experienced that? Did your siblings ever experience that? Do you have a mother or a father who ever experienced that? Any aunts or uncles, nephews and nieces, grandparents? Maybe grandparents. Okay, some of us might have some grandparents who experienced that if they were in America at a certain time. But has she experienced that? I just don't understand how the paper bag is relevant. Is it really relevant today? And if so, who is holding up the paper bag? Okay, because if someone is holding up the paper bag still, we need to know who they are, and you should probably redirect the frustration towards them, not the people who have varying skin tones, not people who have light skin tone. Okay, because we didn't ask for a paper bag. That was just a part of white America. So, and white American media, and when it came to Black media, well, we tried to create our own spaces. Unfortunately, there were some people who upheld that. Okay, so I'm not going to deny that, but in today's world, who's holding up the paper bag? Who is signing on R&B female musicians who are mixed and light skinned? R&B and rap female musicians who are mixed and light skinned. Who's signing those ladies on? So do you want them to just say, no, I'm not going to do this because your colors, I'm not going to follow my dreams and become an R&B singer or become a rapper because of my mixed privilege or because of my light skin privilege? That doesn't make any sense, because they're not the ones in the position of power. They're not the ones who are doing the picking. Shouldn't you be upset at the people who are holding up the paper bag? Being light-skinned does not mean you get preferential treatment. Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't. And that's part of why I started this channel, to kind of show that it doesn't mean that you get preferential treatment. In fact, especially if you're a woman, it can mean that you get traumatic treatment, just horrifying, terrible treatment. Okay. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Sometimes it actually means questioning that treatment based on what you see around you. Yeah, I totally agree with that, because, sometimes being light skinned means that you have to be honest with yourself with the fact that Black people are not treating you the same way that they treat people in your community that are not your skin tone, right? But I don't think that she's talking about Black people and how Black people treat each other. I think she's talking about how non-Black people treat Black people, and that's interesting as well. But I'm going to get into that in just a minute, okay? Let's hurry up and get through this. What it means is it's okay to step aside so other people that wouldn't usually get picked can be aware of how your rhetoric affects others, especially those that are supposed to be a part of your community. Okay. And the last sentence we're not going to read because it's unnecessary. But yeah, so I think it's interesting that she is prioritizing how another group of people treats us. Basically, how non-Black people treat Black people is more important than how Black people treat each other, right? Because as a light-skinned person, what's going to stand out to you isn't how non-Black people are treating you, it's how your own people are treating you. Okay, and that's always going to take more higher precedence. That's always going to be, or it should be more important, at least. It should be more important. We should value how our own community sees us more than we value how another community sees us. But based on this statement, she's basically saying that she has internalized the racial hierarchy, the racist racial hierarchy that our history has, like in this country, that American history has, the racial hierarchy of, there's whites and then there's non-whites and then there's Black people, right? So basically what she's saying is that she has internalized that hierarchy. And when she thinks about how light-skinned people are treated, she's focused on how all of those other people treat them in comparison to how they treat people who are not light-skinned. And this is a light-skinned woman herself. So yeah, it's very sad. It's very, very sad that she has internalized colorism. She has internalized skin tone discrimination. She has internalized the racial hierarchy as well. Okay, and then where did we leave off? Yeah, she's talking about getting picked. It means that you can step aside and that you shouldn't get picked. Again, who's doing the picking in the first place? Who's doing the picking? What if, and we live in a world today where it is so easy, or it's much easier to make money and to attain resources, even from other people in your own community, even if you are Black. So who's doing this picking that is creating this disparity between light-skinned people and brown-skinned people or dark-skinned people? Because if this is happening to the extent that you want to, be heard, maybe this should be directed towards the people who are actually doing the picking. Okay, but I would need for her to get into a little more detail. Like I said, I brought up the R&B singer, rapper scenario. Are they supposed to just step aside? Was Beyonce supposed to step aside for Kelly Rowland? I mean, I don't think that was even the nature of their relationship or their dynamic. But if that was, you should be upset at who's doing the picking. But it's very self-denigrating and it's very sad. And I have seen what it looks like to constantly step aside and take on a self-denigrating demeanor or disposition as a light-skinned woman. I saw my mom go through that. She spent nearly all of her life stepping aside and letting people violate her because she's light-skinned. So basically what she's saying is that if you are a light-skinned Black person, your Black life does not matter. Your success and your well-being do not matter more than a Black person's success and well-being if that other Black person is darker than you. That's basically what she's saying. She's saying that light-skinned people do not deserve to get, you know, resources or to get opportunities. They need to step aside for all of the brown-skinned Black people in our community. And it's just, it's not even practical. It's not even a practical thing to say. Like, can you imagine that? Like, there are babies being born every single day, beautiful Black babies being born every single day. Can you imagine how long it would take for the whole step aside process to finally be complete? It would never end. It would never end. But this is what I'm saying. Like, why do we have to put someone else down in order to uplift someone? You can uplift everyone. We can uplift all Black people of all skin tones, you know. And if someone wants to say that, hey, I'm mixed or I'm light skinned, instead of, you know, attacking them or trying to shame them or trying to negatively characterize them and their mentality for doing so, why not just ask them why they choose to promote that part of themselves? Why is that such an important thing to them? And you might be surprised what they say. You know, we really need to start focusing on being more positive and staying away from people who are just trauma dumping or just venting on social media, because this was posted on a platform where if you let it play and you don't keep scrolling, it's gonna keep looping over and over again. And that's why I thought this was such a huge coincidence, because I was just getting ready to make an affirmations video. Okay, I was just getting ready to make an affirmations video, and the format that she delivered her message in is very similar to the format of affirmations. You know, uh, it's kind of like a hodgepodge of mantras or beliefs, statements, you know, that are stated as fact, you know. So that's very similar to the format of affirmations. And that's another reason why I didn't include this woman's name. I do believe that she's in a lot of pain. I have seen personally what it looks like to be gaslit as a light-skinned Black woman in the Black community and not come out from under the gaslight until 3 decades later, you know. So I have seen firsthand or what that looks like, you know, through the eyes of my mother. So it doesn't end well. So I'm actually genuinely concerned for this woman. I don't want anyone to bully her or anything like that, but I think it's very sad that she has this take, that she has this belief that we can't uplift all Black women, or that we have to shame mixed people for even just stating that they're mixed. Like, what do you want them to do? Like, they're not Black fully and they're not white fully. And I know that's not the only mix. I'm just using this as an example. They are mixed. They have to appreciate both, or they may want to appreciate both cultures. But honestly, you know, if a mixed person wants to identify as Black fully, would she have an issue with that? I don't think that she would. So, and it kind of reminds me of the same rhetoric or the same mindset that was used to take away DEI initiatives and affirmative action. Like, hey, you should not be able to be uplifted because of your background. You know, we're living in this world where you cannot uplift someone without putting someone else down. You know, we don't want to, it's like we want to give in to the negativity so badly. And instead of celebrating our differences while celebrating our commonalities, we only want to do one or the other. And That's very, very sad. But yeah, stay tuned. I will be releasing some healing affirmations because these kinds of videos can be very damaging to your like subconscious mind. And I do think that the experience that we have as light-skinned women, as light-skinned Black women, and as mixed women, uh, you can take on a lot of this self-denigrating disposition very easily without even realizing it until it's almost too late. So stay tuned for some nice, yummy, self-loving affirmations. Okay, let me know what you think in the comments about this video. Um, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. I truly enjoy making this content, you guys. So thank you so much and have a good night.